Welcome to the Sisterhood of Healing podcast, the podcast that wants to help you reach your best and most divine potential. Each week, we dive into topics concerning inner healing, wellness, and spirituality. We discuss strategies and practice from our own personal experiences regarding higher energies, trauma, and connecting to the divine as we take you through our own personal journeys to discover the highest versions of ourselves. In combination with guest speakers, we bring you a comprehensive guide to mental and spiritual wellness and the ability to connect to yourself and the world around you on a deeper level. I'm Nicole, and I'm Christina, and we are two sisters who want to take you along on our spiritual and healing journey. We are each on our own individual healing and spiritual path and bring unique perspectives regarding yoga, chakra healing, meditation, intuition, and trauma healing. Sometimes life is messy, sometimes it's confusing, and sometimes everything falls perfectly into place. Join us as we navigate the path to divine enlightenment together. Hello, sisters, brothers, and non-binary listeners to the Sisterhood of Healing podcast. On today's episode, we have Samantha Bendo, and Samantha has joined us in the past, but we thought it would be good to kind of reconnect. Samantha organizes speed dating throughout the cities of Hamilton and surrounding areas, and she's been doing this for over 2 years now, and there's been some things that she's noticed, and so we're going to have a conversation today about the confidence that comes when you put yourself out there and how you can work on yourself and develop yourself by getting out of your comfort zone and doing things that perhaps scare you and connecting with other people and kind of everything that comes along with that in life. So welcome, Sam.
Hey, thanks for having me. Always a good time chatting.
I know we love chatting with you, so we're so glad that you reached out to us again because the conversations are always so much fun.
Yeah, I think that it's always a good time, but yeah, I'm glad that something with speed dating goes with what you guys are talking about for sure, because I love listening to you guys too.
Aw, thank you. Okay, so what was your big push to kind of reach out to us again today? What were some of the things that you were noticing, and what is it that you want to share with all the listeners?
Well, first of all, I'm proud of your journey, and I love watching your journey and how you're going and gaining self-confidence and just exploring the world. So I was noticing through my events, people are gaining the confidence in their life to try new things and basically just being a lot more outgoing and trying new things that they haven't in the past. So speed dating is speed dating. Like you go to it, I guess, to find love, but I've just noticed a lot of especially males that come to my events, after seeing them, I would say after 2 events, they have a whole new confidence, right? So I think putting yourself out there just allows you to grow, obviously, right? Which you guys are all about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's always a journey. And I love to hear that, they might come to the first one and be a little more shy or a little more timid. And I think that's really cool that you actually get to see them kind of developing that within themselves. Because I don't know, I think you're doing good for the world. And it's nice when you can kind of see that good come to fruition. And I know you're not doing it intentionally, but I think there's a lot of benefit um either direct or indirect to your events and to organizing your events.
Yeah, I know it's rewarding. I also think it again, I get to see the matches, which is always fun, but I've seen a few people that they've got no matches and then they start getting matches, and I don't think anything's changed other than the fact that one, they're more comfortable, two, they're better at talking or better at communicating, right? So I even there's someone specific that went to my event. I was like, you seem like a completely different person. I'm like, I don't know what it is today. Maybe you put on new cologne or you're looking good, but today is I felt like it was a good day for him, and it was actually interesting because it was the first time that he got multiple matches, right? So I think when you work on yourself, you glow, right? And others see it, right? So yeah, it's been really rewarding. I like connecting people. I understand that our goal, I guess, is love or new friends or whatever, but I think that's the aspect of my events that has become more rewarding than even the matches, right? So yeah, very cool.
What was it that prompted you initially to start up a speed dating company, a speed dating event?
Well, I think that COVID just disconnected us completely. Like people didn't know how to have conversations. I also felt like mental health was just at an all-time low. Online dating was just tragic. Like people going to each other's houses during the pandemic is just stranger danger, right? So, um, like yeah, I pray for all of you in those experiences, but I just wanted to create like a safe space where people all have the same expectation and it's just like good old wholesome fun is basically what was behind that. And yeah, I had nothing to lose because again, my friend owns the bar and they kind of gave me the opportunity, and it's kind of spiraled, right? Like we do have events, Hamilton, London, Kitchener, Guelph, um, Niagara. We're getting into Niagara region, right? So there's obviously a demand for it. I didn't invent speed dating by any means, but I'm hoping my approach is the reason why people want to come, right? So,
No, I definitely like your events, and I've done a couple different speed dating events within the city. And what I appreciate from yours is that you've created like such a safe container for people to feel comfortable there. And one of the nice things, or one of the things that I appreciate is when you start off an event, you always say, just be kind to each other. You know, we're all here to have fun. And I think that's one thing at the end of the day we have to remember is that like we are all humans. We're all having this like same experience. We're all there in the same boat. And I've done the events a couple times and I've met guys there that they're like, it's their first event and they're like, oh no, I'm so nervous and it's so weird being here. And I'm like, we're all just like feeling weird being here. So don't worry about it. Like, we're literally all in the same boat here.
yes.
So it's nice to have that like space with people who are like looking for friendship or relationship or whatever it is, but to have that space where you feel safe doing it because it's like such an awkward thing, especially when you get into like your 30s and your 40s and you're like, where do I meet people? Or people start like labeling you because you're not with anyone or whatever. And so it's nice to have that space where you're with like-minded people in terms of like relationships, you're with like-minded people. Um, and it's like safe to date and explore and experience and have conversations, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah, I always say, I'm glad you appreciate that speech at the beginning because people were like, you're telling grown adults to be nice to each other. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I know it's self-explanatory, but like, it's also to be kind to themselves. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
yes, be kind to others, be kind to yourself. And I always say, I would say not everyone is going to be your cup of tea. Like that's life, right? So that's kind of what I've coined. But yeah, just like everyone comes with the same expectation. So you're not being creepy or awkward or whatever you are in real life. Like you all come with the same expectation to talk to someone else. And I think that, yeah, it puts everyone on an equal playing field, right? Like you won't like everyone at our event. If you do, I'm doing a great job. But like just talk to someone, like have a weird conversation. It doesn't have to lead anywhere, but um yeah, it's like just reconnecting with people in real life, right? So, but
Like being vulnerable, they're putting themselves out there in that type of situation. So yeah, be kind. Yeah.
yes. I I also that's it's funny you said that because I do think it's vulnerable. That's why I've never taken pictures at my event. Just because I think it's I don't know, I think it's weird. I don't like stock photos for speed dating. Like you can go on any type of relationship like website. They always have these cheesy stock photos and I hate them, but I also don't like taking pictures of people at my event just because it is vulnerable. Like what, you're gonna look at my like videos of who came and decide if you want to come? Like it just doesn't like vibrate with me. Like if you want to come, come and see who's there. You don't need to like scope it all before, right? So you can go to
Yeah.
online dating for that, right? If you want to be shallow like that, go ahead.
I know it's so true. It's so true. Well, and like with online dating, like you really aren't getting the most authentic version of someone, right? They're
No,
like posting
agreed.
of themselves. That's probably from like 10 years ago. Whereas
Yeah.
a speed dating event, like you're getting that person. Well, I mean, you're not getting every detail of them. You don't really know
Yes.
them. You have a better idea of who they are when you're actually meeting them in person and having a brief conversation with them. Yeah, and you're getting like their body language. You're getting so much more. Yeah.
And
And
their
like,
sense of humor.
yeah,
Yeah. Or lack thereof.
or lack thereof.
Yeah.
No, it's so good. But like, yeah, I think like everybody's like giving it, you got 5 minutes, you're like giving it your all. You're like, okay, here we go, here we go, here we go. You really do see a lot of someone in that 5 minutes. Like you genuinely do. So I think it's yeah, a great opportunity to like be vulnerable, a great opportunity to feel safe and be vulnerable while feeling safe. But then yeah, a good opportunity to like get all of you out really quickly. Like all the best things of you about you. Some of the worst things,
No,
right? Sometimes those things are shared. So yeah.
Well, what I
agreed.
really cool about these events that you're putting on is that you're not just developing a romantic relationship being there. Like Christina's developed a friendship with
Yeah.
a huge group of people. Like that's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, like I definitely I don't have a specific mingle at the end of the event because I think sometimes you're like mentally exhausted, like you're just done. But I always put in the email like if like a lot of the venues are still open, like stay and like hang out. Like if you're have the mental capacity and space and energy that day, like people do stay and hang out. They're looking for connections, like again, not just love. So yeah, Christina, like you guys have a WhatsApp group, but that's not the only group. Like there's tons of people that have said like the ladies were like the ladies gravitated to each other a lot, right? So like I met some like someone else that's single and like we're gonna go out for drinks. Like I heard that yesterday from like at an older group that was there on Wednesday, right? She's like met some cool single ladies. We're going out. We're gonna get some drinks. So again, if they don't have any connections, at least they found someone in the same boat with them, and they're gonna have some drinks. Like yeah.
Yeah. I think that's so important to make those connections. And I think I hear and like, okay, so the group that we established, like it was last, we just had our 1 year friend anniversary. We were,
Woo!
yeah,
I saw that. I loved it.
our friend anniversary, and we actually went out on the 23rd at night. We all went to like an event together, and someone was like, hey, I think we met a year ago this time. And I scrolled back and checked my calendar. I'm like, yeah, like tomorrow's 1 year of our friend anniversary. So it was kind of cool.
Love
But
it.
yeah, it's so nice that you have that opportunity to make those connections, because I went in and I'm like, I don't need any more friends. I like my friend circle, you know, like I'm comfortable,
Yes.
support me, whatever. But then we all just kind of vibed, and it's really nice to have someone in that same boat as you. And like we continue to like support each other through our dating. We like bounce ideas off of each other, like the girls and the guys, and then we just go out and have a good time. Like it's really nice to know that these opportunities exist. And I talk to people who say, "Oh, it's like so hard to make friendships as adults." I'm like, "No, it's not. What are you talking about?"
No, but if you're not
Yeah.
the opportunity,
Yeah.
then it is. And I think it's really cool because like, well, like this is supposed to be an experience to find a partner. Like it's also giving people the opportunity to develop these friendships with people. Cause like if you're single in your 30s, your 40s, like realistically a lot of your friends already like partnered off and have families. So you're kind of left solo. So like
Yeah.
it's nice to be able to meet people who are in the same boat as you.
I have the like I don't do them as often, but I do the new friend game nights, which are really cool. Because I've had like even couples that come, like I had a couple come from Toronto and they just
Oh,
wanted to meet new people. Yeah, or like this guy that he moved to Hamilton with his wife and he's just like I don't know where to meet people, right? So the new friend game nights are really cool too because I think they like I didn't market them to like, oh, are you new to Hamilton? But it's kind of worked out that way that people are kind of like finding that like yeah, a good opportunity to find new people in Hamilton as well, right? So
how
yeah, those ones are specific to friends, obviously.
How often do you run those events? Are they as frequent as the dating ones?
So I did a bunch last year, but I found like near the end of September, the last event was like quite small, so I kind of gave it like a rest. But the one that I have coming up does have already has 15 people like signed up for it. So I usually cap that one at 24. So and we still have like 2 weeks. So I think that one will be a full event. But it's all based on demand, right? Like I was like, oh, this is like dwindling a bit. We'll like give it a break and then circle it around, right?
That is so cool.
Yeah, that is so neat. I tell everybody about like the friend nights because I I just think it's such a cool opportunity. And there are a lot of new people who are moving into the city, and like if you like, I know when I first moved to the city, I joined a soccer team and that's how I met people, but like not everyone plays sports, not everyone's into like certain things, but a game night is just so user friendly. And again, it's that like safe space. We can sit down and play Monopoly, we can sit down and play like whatever game it is, and it's fun. It's easygoing. There's drinks, like if you want
There's
drinks.
drinks, yeah.
No, and it's like it's just such a great opportunity to connect.
We still do a rotation with the friend night as well, just because I think that, like, let's say you pick the same, like, you picked a game and someone else wanted to play it, but that you didn't vibe. Like, we still have a small rotation, like, every 25 minutes. So even in the game night, you're still like meeting new people, which is cool. Because I honestly, I do think that's like, obviously, there's other game nights. They do it differently than me, obviously. But I just think, like, I don't want to be like, let's say you get stuck with someone you don't vibe with, like, at least you have a chance to meet more people in that sense as well.
Yeah,
That's such a good
cool.
idea.
Yeah.
Have you, is there, okay, I don't want you to like, I don't need you to talk about someone specifically because I don't want you to share anyone's identity, but is there an individual that you can think of where you've really seen the most growth with them? And like, what did their journey kind of look like?
Yeah, there's like two people that come to mind like right off the bat. It's so funny. One of them started at a game night because I think that sometimes like that's an easier environment to start into, and then like if you like that, then like maybe try the speed dating. I guess new game nights are kind of like the gateway drug to the rest of my events. But yeah, just like super shy, like very like wouldn't make eye contact with you, like very quiet. And then now like just so outgoing, like doing so well with their career. When they first came, they were in school and now they're in their career. So, um, yeah, it was just like I honestly, I tell them because I'm awkward like that. I'm like, I just feel like you have blossomed and like you're doing so great, and like it's so nice to see that because when I first met you, like you wouldn't make eye contact with you, right? Like I'm not rude, obviously. I'm just like this is so nice to see. Like you have a glow on you, right? So, yeah, no, there's definitely like a few people that I've seen that it again it reflects like for the speed dating, like it reflects in their matches, right? Like your outlook, your attitude that night will affect your matches per se, right? Because you're maybe one night you're off and like people pick up your energy, right? So, but yeah, I won't call them out, but there's definitely I've told you if you've had a glow up and from my events, like I have told you because that's who I am.
Nice.
Yeah, you're like everyone's number one fan. I love that.
Yeah. Like, but even sometimes like people have come to my events and I'm like, you don't seem like yourself today, right? Like it, I guess like identifying that in a way that like are you first of all, one, are you okay? Two, like be aware like maybe your energy is a bit different today, so you might have a different result because if you're feeling shitty, like someone told me they lost their job right before an event and I said, honestly, like if you want to move your ticket, like by all means, like this was a bad situation if you're not in the right headspace. And he said, I want to come, right? So when he came, I was like, let's do this. Like, don't have any expectations tonight. Like, clearly it's not your day, but let's go have a good time. And like, if it's not the event, like we'll have another, right? So, like I don't know, I like to check in with people that come to my event. There are new people all the time, but there's also people that enjoy them, right? So retention is good.
I know there's been a couple times where I've seen some of the guys again, and we're like, "Hey, how's it going?" And it's so nice. It's like, "Oh, old friend, like it's so good. How's it
Yes.
going? Life, like whatever." So no, it's like it is like really nice to kind of see people and like have the opportunity to check in with them. But obviously, like you would know them on a different level than we would know each other because we are sending I send you messages all the time, like we are sending you those messages like, hey, guess what, or whatever. So
Yeah, I love the updates. I love, well, yeah, my normal job is boring. I do insurance, so I love hearing about everyone's connections. Like it's way more interesting than what I do full time, right?
so you were talking about a little bit before about whatever like energy you're bringing to the table that day is really going to impact your experience that night. So, if you've lost your job, it might not be your night, or, maybe you got a new job and your energy is going to be really high. What would you say are some of the, like, maybe like the characteristics that you notice about people who are really vibing with others?
I think the people that come into my events with no expectations and just are in the headspace of being able to connect and not like be very shallow will be the ones that one will have the best time regardless of what happens. And I also think that they'll get the most out of it. I think that if you go in there, I've had people literally come to my events like, I'm gonna meet my husband tonight, and I think that that is the worst attitude. Not like it's not a bad attitude, but it's just you're setting yourself up for expectations, right? Like it's a very have a low bar and let me exceed it. But if you have it too high, I try to come through. If I can get you a husband, I will. But I think yeah, just have no expectations. Go in there wanting to like I had a guy that prepared just some like fun questions that were pertaining to his life and like very like just fun topics instead of what do you do for a living? Like how much money do you make? Like right. So I think he had the best attitude. I've never seen someone come with their own questions, but I was highly impressed with it because I thought it was just he was you could tell he was there to have fun. He didn't have any expectations, and I think he did leave like he did get matches, but like he left like having a good time regardless, right? So
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. Okay, that
yeah.
reminds. Have you watched Love Is Blind?
Oh yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
I want to do a Love is Blind event one day if I could
oh
ever do
God,
that.
fully do a blindfolded one and just have
Yes.
what that would work with the moving, but
I've thought about, don't worry, I honestly thought about the logistics. I'm like, it would have to be a very specific venue and there would have to be like a lot more people than just me. But if I can ever like manage it, I will 100% do it. But
that,
yes, I'm very up on that.
that would be great. Like they call it a social experiment. That would be a great experiment just to see how that goes and if the match rates are any different.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Ugh. Okay, you have to do one.
Yes, and then come back with that one.
We'll do a whole episode on that one.
I asked was on this last. Okay, first of all, like I say, I'm never gonna watch it because I'm like I can't stand this. And then my friends always like, "Did you watch Sweden? Did you watch season 6?" I'm like, "Oh, I'll go watch it right now." But there was a guy on season 6 who came in with a bunch of questions, and I'm like, "This is really weird." Only because at one point he's like, "Oh, I didn't expect anyone to ask me them back." So it was like he just
What?
yeah, he was like, "Oh, okay, well, I was just gonna ask the questions. I didn't expect anyone to ask me back." And I'm like, "This is weird."
Do you know how dialogue goes?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But I love that this guy that showed up to your event like had the questions to like make it more fun because I I don't know. I would really appreciate that because there are only so many questions, like basic questions that you can ask someone on a first date. And it usually is like, "How are you? How's your night going? What's your job? What do you do for fun?" And then you exceed those and you're like, okay, what do I do next? So yeah, I love that he came with questions. It makes it so fun.
Yeah, and they were so that one was the looking for my lobster one. So it was like the friends theme. So he picked like I guess he had some like friends questions that were like kind of pertaining to it. I didn't give it a huge look the questions, but yeah, it was really cool. I was like, I think you're the first one that's ever done this. Like not or I'm not aware, but I was impressed for sure.
And it shows like thought and effort.
Yeah. Not just like going out for a night out. Like you're actually like
Yeah.
genuinely interested in finding a compatible partner.
That is a green flag for me. Like that's
Yeah,
that's a green flag. You're putting in some thought and some effort.
I
Well done.
agree. Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Well done. I feel like
And it
I've
was
been
a
asked.
guy too.
Yeah, no, I know. I
Yeah,
love
that's impressive.
that is so impressive. And that's what I love the most about this is that he like genuinely is like, okay, like how can we make this fun? How can I get to know people?
Yes, yeah.
Has anybody come in with any other tactics like that have been effective, or like alternatively any tactics that you're like, don't do this, please don't do this?
There's a guy, I swear, the guys that are 40 and plus, they got some swag. There's a guy that brought the girl to the bar to get a drink. So they like went and he bought her a drink and they like continued their conversation. at the bar, which I thought was kind of swaggy, but yeah, like, and then someone else did it after. There's one guy that was the first guy ever, and then someone copied his approach later on in the event. But I've only seen it a handful of times done since.
Yeah, if you're seeing something that works, like why not? Copycat it.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. But again, also like things to not do, like get completely trashed. I think I had some guy that just went out to like troll ladies. Like he was just telling them very weird things, and they all tell me, so I am glad he's never come back. But I think he just literally came to the event to like get people's reactions. Like it was very weird, yes.
That's a weird hobby because, like, we buy an event. You're literally buying a ticket to troll people. What is your problem?
It
Yeah.
was just weird things. He was just saying weird things to the ladies, like, I just left my ex's house. How are you doing? Like he just was, yeah.
What?
It was just, like, I was like, we won't. Yeah.
But- oh.
He found that like that doesn't happen often. That was just like a one-off, but I was like, is this guy like I had to figure out, is he like drunk or is he like trolling these ladies or like is he like I don't know, maybe trauma sharing? I don't know. I was like, but it was more than one person that told me about these like weird things this guy was saying. So,
Oh. Well, I
yeah.
have to say that, like, all the guys, like, when I've gone, like, even though they haven't, as you say, been my cup of tea, some of them, um, they've always all been very, very respectful. And I think that's so nice when you're trying to put yourself out there and because, like, when we were talking about like online dating, there are a lot of very disrespectful boys. I'm gonna call them boys. A lot of very disrespectful boys. So just to be in an environment where people are speaking to you respectfully is so nice, like so nice, and I just appreciate that so much because it completely shifts your perception of dating. And I have a friend who has like consistently been on the apps, and me and one of our other friends recently were like, I think you need a break from them. Like I think you need a break from them because you are becoming frustrated. You're going for these like same guys that are not treating you respectfully. You got to figure out, one, what you want, like what's best aligned with you, and two, like give yourself a break and try something else. And I think speed dating is the best way to do that because I think like everyone being there and feeling vulnerable makes you kinder
I
because
agree. I agree.
hiding behind a word. Yeah, a little keyboard warrior.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny you say that. Like, okay, so on the opposite spectrum, like dating, I recently did 50 to 65, and some of the ladies were saying they are just so refreshed that they're seeing actual men in front of them because they have like bots that are asking for like money from them, right? Like they first of all are navigating a whole different situation from when they dated when they were younger, and then they have to like worry about like she's like, I don't know if they're like from a different country asking me for money. I don't know if it's a robot. She's like, I just don't know if people are who they say they are. So yeah, it definitely, I think that you don't hide behind a screen. So you are like you have to be responsible for the words that are coming out of your mouth versus finger smashing on your app, whatever you want, asking for boob pictures or whatever, right?
So true. So
It's
true.
true.
So true.
But
What is like the one thing for someone who hasn't tried speed dating before? What is one piece of advice that you would leave them with, or one reason that you think they should try speed dating if they have not before?
well, definitely just coming into it with an open mind is my like biggest advice. And then also, I just think that you should give it a try because, again, it like makes you more human. After talking to a bunch of people online, you can kind of like be very negative, as you were saying. So I think it's just refreshing. And again, I've had a lot of people that said I definitely didn't meet anyone that was my type that night. That happened, but they were like, it definitely gave me confidence to try to date new people, right? Like I had a different perspective, like kind of as you were saying. And I'm trying to create wholesome fun. I don't want any like anything creepy, anything rude. Like, let's have a great night. Let's make some connections. Again, I don't guarantee love, but I guarantee a good time.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
So,
always has been a good time every time I've gone.
like we always end up staying, like inevitably you end up staying and like chatting with someone and like learning a little bit about them or like making connections. Like actually, you know what? The one night I met a guy and at the end of the date I said, this is a totally platonic question, but yeah, can I have your number and would you like to be on my podcast? You see, he was he did like hypnosis for healing.
Oh,
And so
nice.
that way, yeah, and it was like such an amazing conversation and we learned so much from it, not to mention that he's helping other people by speaking about this on podcast platform. So yeah,
Sure.
you never know the connections you're gonna make.
Yeah, I just like I always say I'm like a 1950s soul. Like I'm just I just like basic things. So I think that like this is kind of like it alludes to like pre-internet days, right? So and like I think that I am able to create this business because I have such a support system and I identify that not everyone has that, right? So yeah, that's like another very rewarding part of my life if people do get a support system, even if it's not like a lover, right? So
Yeah. And that's important. Like just having like your crew, like someone that you can even just like confide in about things that no one else understands is incredibly, incredibly important. And you know, you hear a lot lately about how there's this like epidemic about guys who are so lonely and whatever. And I think it's just, no, I really do think it's like especially important for like make these connections and feel like they have someone that they can talk to about this, if anything, or like even like in our speed dating group, like the guys and the girls, we compare stories and ask each other for advice all the time because you've got people that, you know, understand and can you feel safe asking those questions too. So yeah.
and expanding your like I think that a lot of people they have people that they've been friends with for so long that sometimes you don't want to ask that person because you know them so well. I think that there's definitely a benefit of having groups that are beyond who you met like geographically in high school or university, you know what I mean? Like expanding your horizons. I think that if you stay, I love my friends of 15 years. I love them to death, but I think that to evolve as a person, I needed to have different groups. I needed to experience different situations, right? So this like again my speed dating provides an opportunity to meet someone that like is out like maybe you've met them in elementary school but an opportunity to meet people that you wouldn't meet in any other setting, right?
Yeah, it definitely does open up the door and gives you a vast vast accessibility to like different people and new opportunities.
Hopefully all good. Open the good doors.
Yeah, definitely all good experiences. Definitely. So if you were to leave our listeners with like one piece of advice or like one lasting thing, what would that be?
Just do it. No kidding. But no, just try the things that you're scared of. Like if it starts with speed dating, like and it's a gateway into a bunch of other things that you probably weren't gonna try, then I'm happy. But yeah, just try it. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But you can check off your bucket list that you tried it, right?
Yeah.
That's great advice.
Yeah, that was good advice. Okay, well, Sam, thanks so much for coming back to talk to us today. Like we said in the beginning, we always love talking to you. We should definitely connect though in like a year because I want to I want to hear updates. I want to hear if you've done the blind dating or the blind, dating. Love is blind.
Love is blind.
I want to hear if you how that goes. I want to be there. Let me know when you do that. I want to be there. I want to be a part of it. So
I was gonna say I'll just ask you what age group you want, and then we'll cater it around your needs.
I love
Love it. Thank you very much for having me, guys.
Thank
you. That's it for our show today. Thanks for joining. Remember, you can always reach out to us on our socials, on Instagram at sisterhood_of_healing, or on TikTok at Sisterhood of Healing. We love to hear from you, so please reach out to us at any time. Thank you for journeying with us today. We'll see you next time.